All right, get excited, everyone. Get excited. Listen, make sure your partners are here. Make sure your partners are here. Because what we gonna focus on, I'm actually in someone's office right now conducting this call. What we're going to focus on right now is we get the appointment. Now what? The pitch is the number one thing. The pitch is what stops us from getting the signature because we get there and we don't close the seller. So let's go ahead and let's get our partners in here. They're gonna want to be in here because this is where you get the actual money, you know. Forget making the calls. This is how you get the actual money. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's give it a couple of more minutes. Let's get our partners in here so that we can take some notes, have an impactful night. And I need to put my phone on do not disturb.
And a new case.
I know I need to get one, right? I just got this one. I just got this one. All right. All right. The bus is off. The train is booked. The train is going. Excited for you guys. Gene, I don't know if you want to open us up with the Brokers Open today, give some feedback on that. Thank you for everyone that attended the Brokers Open today. And what it was able to do was it was able to provide exposure to the community. It was able to provide exposure to the seller. It was able to bring an area where other realtors were able to come and collaborate. Lenders were there, title companies were there. Gina, you with us? Hey, Gina.
Yes, hey, good evening, and thank you so much. Congratulations to you and Megan for that wonderful listing in Imperial Point. I love that area. It's really like the luxury side of, Pompano, and it's really nice. But I had a chance to see the level that you guys did the open house, which I thought was wonderful because only Jeff Corey had valet, in mind to think of,
Always.
because he thinks of the flow of the activity he already calculated probably through RSVP, how many cars will be there, how many cars that parking lot and that entry way can hold. So I thought that was also a luxurious touch to it, and it was thoughtful.
And also, when you're on a busy road as well, you want people to come in and come out and not have to even think about, wow, this is a busy road. So how do we avoid that? We avoid that by providing valet service, because now they're getting in, they're getting out of their car very seamlessly, and now they're not like, oh my gosh, there's 15 cars behind me, there's so much traffic, I don't want to live here. I would hate to promote this place to my client.
Right, right. It was great. Also, that type of ambiance and preparedness gave you
Oui.
access
Ou te
also.
relem talè a, ou bien se pa mistake?
Sorry about that.
Access to content and to, have your own footage, because sometimes you may not have multiple listings lined up, but you have something to show. So it was something
Yep.
I'm going to put on my social media and stuff. It was also an opportunity for us to network, and also it shows the type of agents that are in the room. Our agents that are also looking and doing their own research too, no matter what, whether it's their listing or not. They want to see what's in the area, the competition, what makes this property stand out, and even also opportunity for collaborations. One highlight that was there was, I don't know if you guys are on Netflix or anything like that, but there was a young lady that she has a really good uh, show right now. She's part of a show with Wags, and she was part of their part of the Brokers Open. She attended, and I thought that was wonderful to see her and Kay, because she's a high producing agent in that brokerage with Sheree as well. So it was very nice to see. There was videographers there, food. It was catered. They had a lot of different brokerages and colleagues in the facility. So it was nice. Congratulations to you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, great turnout. A lot of people were there from the start to the finish. The event ran over, so that was great. So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. The reason you want to attend other people's events is because you got to learn the inventory. You got to see where the market's at. You got to see what people are doing so that you can go ahead and do the same, or you can add to it. You got to also connect with other realtors. How do you get your offers accepted? By connecting with realtors. That's truly how you get your offer accepted. Obviously, it needs to have the right amount. It needs to have the right financing contingencies, those type of stuff. But relationship speaks volumes in any space of business. So if you're home and you're thinking that, hey, I'm better off doing something else, sometimes it's better to leave the cocoon that you're in. Go see what are the brokers opens, what are the open houses that are happening nearby, especially if it's an area that you want to dominate, you want to farm in, because this is the way that you're going to be able to master the opportunities that are out there and master the market that we're in right now. We have properties that are sitting on the market. I heard one of the agents was doing a training class in the back. Hilarious. So we have properties that are sitting on the market, and this particular broker was able to talk to people about how to price your properties, how to lower your prices, how to how to um how to advertise your homes as well. So people were truly getting information from that. So keep that top of mind when you're like, hey, what do I do with my day? Learning the community, learning the area, learning the inventory. So what happens is when you get a listing tomorrow that happens to be an Imperial Point, you can say, "Oh my gosh, my friend has a listing down the street. This is the activity that she's receiving. This is the price point that it's at. This is what's happening." Now you can speak with intellect because you have the information in front of you. So keep that in mind, y'all. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started for our segment for today. I think we're still missing people, but we're gonna go ahead and proceed. So dominating the pitch. So what is the pitch? The pitch is the actual listing appointment. So I hope everyone has a pen and paper with them today, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to you guys. Like, for example, I went on a listing appointment with a young lady yesterday, and I said, she's like, she calls me, she's like, hey, I don't have color print. Can you print out the stuff for me? I said, yeah, I'd be honored to print out the stuff for you and bring it to the appointment. So I said, send me your stuff. And she sent me the listing agreement. She sent me the supporting documents. I said, "Where's your presentation?" She's like, "I don't really have one." And I said, "You have to create a presentation. What are you gonna do? You're obviously gonna sit there and you're gonna speak to the seller, yes. But when it comes time for you to leave, and now the seller's interviewing multiple people, what do they have to reference back to you? Did I leave them my bio? Did I leave them comparables? Did I leave them a marketing plan? Did I leave them a compensation menu? Did I leave them a communication guarantee opportunity? Did I leave them a out of a contract clause? What did I leave them What did I leave them so that now they have tangible stuff? So when they go back, sometimes they do say, let me think about it. And what they're thinking about is that they have a top three, they have a top two, they have a top five agents. And what they're doing is they're going back through your stuff to see which ones is going to be the agent they're going to be working with. And what happens is, if you don't have that information, you don't have anything that you can leave behind, they have nothing to reference back to you. And guys, you have to remember, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of sight, out of mind. Okay. So you have to have a presentation, and your presentation may look like mine. Your presentation may look like Dr. Karen's. Your presentation may look like something you got off of Canva or you got off of Chat GBT, but you have to have a presentation. Okay. The way you formulate your presentation is going to wow them. So for example, my company, we use an actual book that we pass out to people when we go to meet them. And what is it? It's an actual cover. It's a hard stock cover. We put our presentation inside of it. And then from there, it has a back cover, and we leave that there. We can either mail it to them, we can leave it at the appointment, but it's a hard stock book. Prior to that, I was with another company. We use what's called a spiral machine. We would spiral the front, we would spiral the back, we would spiral the presentation inside of it, and we would leave it there. Okay. Some people do, although you do a presentation from your computer and you can say, hey, it's 2025, we do our stuff from our tablets. You want to still leave something with the seller because you want to make sure that the seller is going to walk through her kitchen. She's going to walk through her living room. She's going to walk through her dining room, and she's going to be able to remember your folder. I love when I meet with a seller and they happen to sign with me. And then I go back to the home and I still see my listing kit sitting on the table. Or they decide to think about it, and now, as they're thinking about it, they decide to finally want to work with me. And now, when they work with me, I come back to the home and I see my listing kit sitting right in front of them. Or I love when I walk in. I love when I walk in and they're interviewing other agents, and I see a Keller Williams, I see a Remax, I see a Compass, I see a Coldwell Banker, I see a Line Right Realty folder sitting there. It lets me know that this person's serious about the biggest decision they're about to make in their life. And it lets me know that, wow, I need to wow them, because obviously the last five companies probably didn't wow them, or probably they need to think about it. But I need to make sure that I leave something there as well. So what is dominating the pitch looks like? It means that I'm gonna have the best presentation that I can possibly have. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna educate myself on the market. Okay. So if the property happens to be in a condominium, I'm going to educate myself on what's happening in the condominium market. I'm going to educate myself on what's happening in the vicinity of where the property is. Okay. If it's a single family home, it's $1 million plus, I'm going to package it some certain type of way. If it's $1 million plus, I'm going to package it another type of way. If it's 5 million, 10 million, I'm going to package it, because what happens is that they always say your first 30 seconds or your first 5 minutes or your first 60 seconds with someone, they can already read you. So when I'm able to walk into an appointment and I have a folder with me, and it's a folder that was not just thrown together because it's the same presentation I used for Mike and I used for Sarah and I used for Jessica. It was a presentation that I actually took my time and worked on them with. Okay. That's why there's companies out there like Toolkit CMA is one of the companies out there. That's why that's why RPR is out there. That's why the MLS has access to create a presentation. That's why your brokerage may have an embedded presentation in there. You have to utilize that. And what you do is you take from there and you create your own. Okay. You take from other presentations and you create your own. Okay. Canva has presentations. Believe it or not, you can go into Canva, listing presentation, listing kit, listing booklet, and it's going to give you some presentations that you can obviously use. Put it into ChatGPT. Okay. And if you have ChatGPT Pro, it's going to even give you the pictures that you need to print out. Okay, I'm working with the seller. I need to meet with them. They're at 500,000. They're at 1 million. They're at 7 million. Give me a listing presentation that I can give to them and include. What am I going to include in there? Okay, include what's the best way to market this home. Include what's happening in the city or in the state or in the county or in the town, so that I feel educated and I can educate the seller. Okay. And then give me some things that I need to focus on when it talks about selling this home. Okay. And if you're smart enough or you're able to know about these things, you can actually take the picture of the house, for example, you can plug it into ChatGPT. You can take the link if it was previously listed, drop that into ChatGPT. Okay. And it can prepare you. But what your pitch needs to look like is you need to spend some time working on your business. I saw someone post this earlier. They said we spend so much time working in our business, we don't spend time working on our business. So what does your pitch need to look like? Okay, first and foremost, You need to have some information about yourself. Okay. Do you have a bio? Do you have a resume? Do you have a, what do you call that? What do you call that? Do you have a one pager information sheet about you? Okay. You need to have that. Okay. And what's good you're gonna include in there? You're gonna include your years in business. You're going to include your acclimates in there. You're going to include your awards, your certificates, your acknowledgments. If you have any of that, you want to include those in there. Okay. If you have any success stories, okay, you want to include those in there. Any testimonials, you want to include those in there. Okay. If you have any features in there, you want to include those in there. Okay. If you have any collaboration opportunities, you want to include those in there. Okay. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some information about my company. They want to know about the company. Sometimes we believe that they don't really care about the company, but if I'm with a company and I'm proud of the company that I'm with, I want to be able to talk about, hey, my company has 200 plus agents, okay? My company is local in 55 states, okay? My company is an international company. We're in 24 countries, okay? My company is a waterfront company. Whatever your company is that you're with, you need to be able to have that so you can elaborate that to the person, because what you're going to do is you're going to elevate your company to assist you in selling the property, okay? We ran the brokers open today, and I said one of the things I told the young lady is that you can either tell the homeowner how many people attended, or you can tell her how many brokers attended. Okay, you can say, yeah, we had 25 realtors that came, or we had 17 brokerages attend. You hear the difference of that? Okay. So wow, you had Coldwell Banker there, you had Remax there, you had Century 21 there. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. In addition to that, what you want to also do in your pitch is you want to talk about your marketing plan. Okay. What does your marketing plan look like? Okay. Nicola, if I was to ask you, what did your marketing plan look like? Give me 5 items you do right now.
So for my marketing plan, Jeff, I would say open houses for sure. I do mailers to the realtors in the neighborhood. And 3, I let me see, 1, 2, 3. I obviously have it on the MLS. I'm gonna do the signs. And then I also do door knocking and letters out to the neighbors. I have different types of open houses. I have an open house just for the neighbors, maybe a twilight open house on a Friday evening when people are coming home, and then I do brokers open and then regular open houses for the public.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. And you have that laid out, and that's amazing because when a seller asks you, and they're gonna ask you that on the phones when we're talking to expires, we're talking to FISBOs, and they're like, what are you gonna do to market and advertise my home? You can now share that information with them, and you have it already laid out. You say
Yes.
you say what's so funny is that I can actually send this to you. Let me send this to you right now. What's your cell phone? What's your email? You
There you
know?
go.
And
Absolutely.
you can send that to them right then and there so they know that you stand on business and that you have a true marketing plan of what you're gonna do with their home, okay? Now, the next thing is obviously you want to have the comparables. We always want to have the comparables, but what else do we want to have in addition to the comparables? So, for example, if I did open houses, right, and I have a setup. So, for example, I've set up my open house. That would be something that I add to my presentation. If I do mailers, I would keep copies of the mailers, the ones that come to my house. I would keep those and I would use those at the presentation so the seller could feel the quality of it. They can see the size of it. They can see the resolution of it, of how it looks. Okay. And I would group it towards the price point that I'm working with. So if I'm working with a $5 million seller, I was able to mail something off that was $5 million. I'm going to show them, hey, Mr. Seller, at the time that we work together, we're going to do a mailer that looks just like this. Okay. If I'm gonna do a Twilight open house, I'm gonna show pictures of people that attended my open house and say, Mr. Seller, I've done open houses before and they've gotten me 20, 30, 40 people to participate that had me to successfully sell the home. And I can definitely do this when we work together. There's one thing about telling someone something, but there's a second thing about showing them. So one of the best things that I love doing is when I tell people we're going to do a professional video of your home, we're going to do the drone imaging, the professional videos, everything. I say, here, let me show you a video of a home of yours that we happen to have listed of a home that we happen to have listed that looks kind of like your home. Or if I have a story to go with that home, hey, we were able to sell this home right through the video. We were on the market for 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. Now, for example, if I'm gonna do mailers to other realtors as well, okay, I may have the list of the realtors that I'm gonna collaborate with to be sending out the mailers to. Whatever my marketing plan looks like, I want to go ahead and I want to get that to the forefront of people. What does your marketing plan look like, Joanne? If you were to think of 2 to 3 items. I hope you're with us.
Yes, I am.
Beautiful.
Open houses,
Mm-hmm.
mailers,
Mm-hmm.
brokers open.
Beautiful.
Yeah, those would be my marketing. Mailers and open houses and brokers open.
So check this out, Jeff. I've never done a broker's open before. I've never done an open house before. I've never done an XYZ before. I would use people in my office. I would use my partners. I'd use people from this session right here. The sellers honestly don't know that it's your stuff versus not your stuff. Okay.
Right.
But you would say my team and I have held these type of events, and these are the results of what we've done. So why is it important that I attend these type of events? Number two is because now I can capture my own content, my own footage that I utilize when I meet with people. You understand? What about you, Nick? If you could name 2 to 3 things that you do that's a part of your marketing plan that you know you're gonna get done. And I'm excited that you mentioned, Nicola, the MLS. A lot of times sellers believe that that's not included. They sometimes believe that that's an additional charge, and then sometimes they don't know the footprint of the MLS. Did you know,
Yes.
Mr. Seller, that when we list your property on the MLS, we don't only go to Realtor.com, Trulia, and Redfin, we go to over 900 websites. Okay, so what I would be doing is I'll be pulling that information from the MLS that I'm associated with. If it's Miami, if it's Palm Beach, if it's Cape Coral, whatever MLS I'm associated myself with, I would be pulling that information off of there because that's all factual information that I can give them. Okay, Nick, what does your marketing plan look like?
So the biggest thing what I can tell a seller is we actually pay for paid leads from the CRM that we use.
Beautiful.
So these are paid leads of people, just relocating, coming from different places, looking for properties. Not only that, we are on the phones as well. We're cold calling every day, and not just us. I do have my colleagues as well. They do cold call. We're gonna go ahead and do like mass promotion as far as for emailers, emailers, email blasts. What else? As far as for, we're just gonna check the comps. We're gonna, call the other agents in the area that sold properties. Just, maybe ask them as far as for, those buyers that came to their properties and stuff like that. Just a lot of networking. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. But we're pretty much just hitting the phones and just letting them know that we do have a mass buyers network as far as with the MLS as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if I can get a footage of people actually in the office making calls, I would get that. I'd add that to my listing presentation. If I can get footage of like if I can get footage of the lead. So for example, and sometimes you got to think outside the box. So if you have the pictures, maybe you need to put them into Canva, create a nice presentation that you're able to now pass off to the seller when you're meeting with them. So maybe what I'm doing is I'm taking the lead that I got from Facebook, I'm taking the lead that I got from LinkedIn, I'm taking the lead that I got from Google, from Zillow, I'm putting that all on a one pager and saying, Mr. Seller, these are the type of leads that we're getting. And guess what? They're not free leads. These are paid leads. We're actually investing money into the listing. Guess what? Your next question is going to be from the seller. Going to be how much is that, or is that additional? And now you look like Superman. You look like the strong man. Be able to say, no, Mr. Seller, that's included in our 5% commission. That's included in our 7% commission. That's included in our 8% commission. Whatever your commission is, you're not able to tell them that. Or if you have a commission menu, you're not able to speak to them about in this package, this is what you get. Okay. And this is really what helps people. A lot of times people think that, man, the seller decided to not work with me because I didn't have the knowledge. The seller decided to not work with me because they know somebody else. The seller decided not to work with me, XYZ, XYZ. No, but honestly, we didn't present to them as best as we possibly can. Think about going on to a date, okay? You're going on to a date with a girl, you're going on to a date with a guy, okay? And that first 30 seconds that they're seeing you walk into the restaurant or wherever you guys are meeting at, they're already judging you. They're looking at your shoes, they're looking at your shirt, they're looking at your pants, they're looking at your haircut, not haircut. If you're a guy, they're looking at the way you look and they're like, damn, this is bad, Or no, this is like really bad. I don't know about it. I gotta use the restroom, So think about that. And this is the same impression that the seller is giving you as well as you're walking to their home. Are you taking notes as you're walking through the property? Okay. Are you organized? Okay. Do you have stuff that's ready to go? Or are you just trying to figure it out? you know, and that's exactly how you have to be presented. So when you're able to go to someone's house and you're able to lay out everything of what you're going to do from A to Z, they're going to be so impressed. They're going to be so impressed. And this is what allows me the opportunity. Everyone's talking about the 16 listings that I took last month. I'm getting so many phone calls about it since we posted the video. But really, I'm doing nothing different. I'm prepared as best I can possibly be. I had a listing appointment today. I was supposed to meet the guy at 5:30 and I postponed him because I wasn't ready. I knew I had this call. I knew I have a call following this. I knew I had a 6 o'clock call. And I said, I just wasn't ready. And I'm not going to go there. And my one shot is my only shot. I wasn't going to mess it up. Mr. Seller, is it okay that we move the appointment tomorrow to the same time at 5:30? Because I want to make sure I bring the best comps. I want to make sure I do the best research as possible. I want to make sure that when I go there, I'm going for a signature and nothing else. Okay? So what you got to do is you have to work on that presentation. You with me, Sandra? Sandra, you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. I hear everything.
Okay, what does your presentation look like so far?
So I do door knocking in the neighborhood and marketing to local businesses as well as
I love that. So you guys, you can even get ideas from this room right here that we're in. Local areas, door knocking, okay? So Mrs. Seller, what we're gonna do is we're gonna door knock, we're gonna canvas the 500 homes that happen to be in your community, the 900 homes that happen to be in your community. Mrs. Seller, did you know in this gated community that we're in right now, there's 1,002 homes? We know this because we pulled the numbers, because what we're gonna do is when we get your home on the market, we're gonna go ahead and door knock these homes to make sure that everyone in the community knows about the property, especially when it comes time for us to do the brokers open and open house. Okay. This is what's allowing people to get 16 listings. This is what's allowing people to get 12 listings, 5 listings, 2 listings a month. It's not that they're any better. It's not that they're any better. It's that they're better equipped with the answers that they get off the phone, okay, which is the objection. And now when they go to the presentation, they had Jessica they were scheduled to meet, they had Tom they were scheduled to meet, they had Benny that they were scheduled to meet, and guess what? They canceled all those people because I blew them away. When you go to a car dealership and you go to purchase a car, their goal is to have you leave with that vehicle. So what do? They show you the best car that's freshly cleaned, okay? They show you all the incentives that's out there. They show you all the bells and whistles of the car. Oh, did you know you have this Bluetooth tech here? You have this camera here. You have this sensor here. You have this. They're wowing you. Think about this, y'all. Has anyone purchased a car in the last, I don't know, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Anyone?
No, but I went for a test drive on Saturday, so you're
Tell
saying
us the
same
story.
thing.
Tell us about the experience. I want to buy that car from you. Tell me.
So she showed me, like you said, showed me the best car, all the bells and whistles. It was a Lexus that I'm looking at. So it was very nice. Went on the test drive. I drove the Lexus NX, I think 250, and the Lexus 350. But the 350 drove very smoothly. So I told her, not right now, but we just wanted the test drive. But she did sell me very well.
Exactly. She was selling you. So you have to ask yourself, man, when I go onto a presentation, Joanne, when I go onto a presentation, Martine, when I go onto a presentation, Nick, am I wowing them? Am I showing them all the bells and whistles that I can possibly do? Sometimes we do stuff and we just do it because we know that it's the norm for us to do. But guess what? It's a part of the package. Do you know that some realtors out there use lock boxes and some realtors out there use Supras? That's a package. That's a premium. Mr. Seller, we can give you the lockbox for 4%, or we can give you the Supra for 6%. You can package it how you best want to present it. That's just an example. But even having a lockbox, having a Supra, personalized showings, putting the property into the MLS, these are features. These are features. So right now, what we're fighting now is we're fighting even having to put a property on the market on the MLS. They're stating that a seller should have to choose on how he or she wants to market and advertise their home. They shouldn't have to be forced by this clear cooperation thing to put a property on the market in the next 24 to 72 hours. We're fighting for this right now, ladies and gentlemen. So now when you come in and you say, Mr. Seller, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to take professional photos. We're going to do drone images. We're going to canvas the area. We're going to do brokers opens. We're going to do postcards. Okay. And now you're able to say, we're going to list the property on the MLS. You're winning them. You're showing them the bells and the whistles. My last 3 listings have been using the options to show myself no lockbox or Supras. Come through. Talk to the people that don't know what you're talking about, Dershan.
So, my last 3 listings, I actually, Jeff had shared with us, he doesn't use lot boxes or the supers. He actually go and show himself. So the last 3 listings that
Dress
I
me
actually,
out.
the last 3 listings that I had, and I have gotten successful offers as well. We're under contract, or have closed already, but I actually show the properties myself instead of utilizing lot boxes and Supras.
Mm. So walk us through that appointment, because some people just hear me talking, but they don't see me talking. Okay, they hear but they don't
Mhm.
see. Walk us through you sitting down with the sellers and you're talking to them about actually showing the home and how their mouth was just like drooling. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you actually sold the property. Talk to us about that.
So I give the options. I let the clients know that there are options that are out there. We have lot boxes. We do have supers that we can utilize, which I do feel is a safer option because it will keep the realtors from being lazy trying to give their clients the lockbox codes to get in. But what I find to be most valuable is having me. Me being accessible to you, actually showing the properties myself in the process, and making sure that I'm there walking the clients through not only with the realtor but also giving the clients an opportunity to know what this property comes in all about.
Beautiful. And what was the seller's feedback? What was the seller? Were they like, oh, we don't really care. We just want you to get the property sold.
No,
Oh my
they
gosh, we
they
can't
said
believe you
no, I
do that.
want you. They said no, I want you.
Nice,
That was
nice. Are you
that was
are
the
are you all hearing that? Are you all hearing this? So one of my marketing plans, how does he get 16 listings in the last 30 days, is that we personally show all of our properties, unless you want the property to be on Supra, but we personally show all of our properties. And that was the only difference from a seller possibly signing with me than signing with Joe Smo that's out there. Okay. But this is your marketing plan. This is your pitch. This is what you're explaining to the seller as you're sitting down with their family. You're sitting down with them, especially if they live in a home. Especially if they live in the home, I'm painting the picture to them like, no, Mr. Seller, we would never put your home on a lockbox of Super knowing that you guys live here and there's valuables of yours in here. You know, I'm kind of disappointed if an agent would do that, and I kind of fear if you would work with them. Okay. So what else am I including in my pitch? Okay, my pitch is going to be how am I, and then my pitch is going to be conversations on where the market is right now. We got to educate ourselves on the market. I was in the car with one of my boys earlier this morning, and he was talking about, man, I have all these listings, they're not moving, and it's getting tough. It's getting tough right now. Okay, I said you got to have price reduction conversations. You got to have price reduction conversations. So if we're having the conversations just like this, Mr. Seller, what is your take on the market right now? How do you feel the market is progressing or not progressing right now? You know, have that conversation with them so that one of the best things that I love is that when they're having the conversation with me and it tells me exactly where I need to position myself. Hey, I think the market's phenomenal. I think the market's doing bad. I think the market's doing okay. I'm a little bit nervous about the market. I'd be like, man, yes, yes, yes. All right, so this particular seller, I could price him at 550. This particular seller, I got to price him at 570. This particular seller, I can price them at 430. Okay. Because they understand where the market is. There's momentum there. There's not momentum there. I understand. Okay. So having that conversation, having the transparent conversations right now leaves you to have better results later on. Leads you to have better results later on. Okay. So my pitch is including where do I position them right now in prediction of where the market's going to be. Mr. Seller, if we don't price the house today at 550, I'm a little bit nervous that based on the decline that's happening in the area with the prices, we're going to end up selling your home for a lot less in the next 60 to 90 days. And how do you feel if we end up having to sell your home in 90 days from now at 520 when we could possibly get 530 today? We're having the dialogue in the beginning because what I'm doing is I'm selling my expertise service. My expertise service would never allow you to take your home and do just anything with it. It's just not what I do. I literally went on a listing phone with a girl yesterday and I said, I don't know if this is the listing we want. 700 something thousand dollars. I said there's a lot of other $700,000 listings in other areas that we can go after, and I don't believe this is it. It's too much work. It's way too much work for us. It's going to be way too much work for the seller. Someone's going to end up disappointed somewhere throughout this, and I know it's not going to be me because I'm already halfway out the door. I'm out of here. You coming with me or you staying? What you doing? Okay. So what we have to do now is I want to open it up for questions right now, 7:36, is we have to make sure that we work on that dominating pitch that's going to be essentially created for this particular seller in this particular time in this particular market. Okay? And sometimes the area doesn't call for brokers open. Sometimes the area doesn't call for open houses. But the area calls for mass marketing. I have a listing right now at 4.9 and I cannot move this thing. And I was last night in the bed, I was thinking, man, I was like, man, I gotta target other people. I gotta target New York. I gotta run more ads. I gotta talk more and more people in different states. I got to do this. So what that means I gotta move the money from this area to that area. We don't need an open house right now. We don't need a broker's open right now. We don't need local postcards right now. We need newspaper ads. We need journal publications. We need more social media content. We need more conversations with people in this state, that state. That's what we need right now. Okay, we got to have those type of conversations with the people and let them know like what we got to do, and what we have to be able to be able also we have to be able to be educated enough to say no, that's not gonna work for this home. A home like this, that's not gonna work. We literally have a listing right now, Dr. Karen and myself. We have a lot of listings together, but we literally have a listing right now where we spoke about staging from day one. And they opted to not stage the home. And now we're like, man, like if you guys would have just did the staging from day one, it would have avoided all of this, you know? Now we got to go back and do the staging now when we already presented the property, you know? We already presented the property, you know? So we got to be like, what do we do now? What do we do now? We educate, we serve, we provide value, and we leave the rest to the seller. Okay, let's open it up for some questions. Hopefully you guys have some questions for me on that. Anyone struggling on their presentation right now? Anyone doesn't have a presentation? Drop a 2 in the room if you have a presentation that you're actively using right now when you go and you meet sellers. I can call you right now and say, hey, come list this house. And you'd be like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Okay, we got one person. We got 2. We got 3. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay. So for the rest of us, we got to work on that presentation. It could be 5 pages. It could be 20 pages. It could be 100 pages. It could be whatever your presentation is. But I promise you, I don't have one, so I have to work on one. Good stuff. I promise you, if you take the time to build out your presentation the same way you built out your buyer's presentation, everyone has a buyer presentation. It's like the most easiest thing in the world. Okay, if you take that same amount of time and you build out that buyer's presentation, that seller's presentation, okay, I promise you, you're gonna go to appointments and you're gonna walk out with listings. Because you're gonna have the information present itself for itself. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Drop a 7 if you learned something today. Drop a 7 if you learned something today. All our
Good.
segments don't need to be 4 hours. All our segments don't need to be 3 hours. I just love it. In and out, 40 minutes. Great.
Jeff, I have a quick question.
Of course.
Okay, so in today's climate, you know, we know how important pricing is. And how do you handle the seller who is unrealistic about the pricing? You know, but obviously we want to get the listing. We believe that getting that listing, you know, it would be a good contender in the market. So it's not something that we necessarily want to walk away from.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you, you know, help to?
I think
navigate
conversation,
that.
I think having the conversation in the front,
Yes,
having the price reduction conversations right away, continue
got
to
you.
educate, continue to get statistics, continue to receive the Florida Realtors articles, the Miami Realtors articles, the Indeed articles, the Inman articles, I mean, the Keeping Current Matters articles, okay, the Real Deal articles, continuing to keep those articles, and now you take those articles and you send it out to them, continue to stay in front of their face, but having the conversation up front, okay? Mrs. Seller, while I don't agree that we place the home on the market for 580, I'm gonna go by your wishes and let's go ahead. We're gonna start marketing and advertising this home today at 580. But I really want us to host the conversation in the next 15 to 20 days. If we're not where we need to be, I really want us to talk about where we need to be with the price.
Got you.
I have a listing
Because
right now. We haven't had one single showing in about 90 days. One single showing. And every time we speak, I say the price. 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 I send them new stuff that come on the market. And then now we finally had the price reduction conversation. We're finally going to be reducing the price. Okay. We're going to
perfect.
be reducing the price right now and we're going to see what happens. Okay. And while I still disagree with the price that we're at, we're making baby steps, we're crawling, but I still believe that eventually, as we continue to stay in front of their face and we don't go into our cocoon and hide, we stay in front of their face, we continue to provide them information, we continue to plug them into where they're receiving the information. I think we've done our part, we've done our job. Okay. And then what we do is we take our time and energy and we plug it into 15 other people that want to work with us and they're ready to price their homes correctly today. Okay. Anything else?
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Are y'all go work on those presentations? I promise y'all that's what's gonna have you walk in and walk out with the list. You're gonna walk in with one book. Imagine this. You're gonna walk in with a listing presentation, and you're gonna walk out with a listing agreement signed. And you just drop them off. Drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up. Okay. Y'all be great. We'll catch you guys back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Take care, y'all.